Welcome to Easy Guides Audiobooks. This audiobook was created by Easy Guides Media to help you gain the necessary knowledge needed to make your life better. Enjoy. Introduction. INFJ is one of the 16 personality types found in the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI. INFJ stands for Introverted, Intuitive, Feeling, and Judging. INFJs are often known for being wise and caring. They have a natural ability to understand how other people think and feel and how to connect with them on a deep level. INFJs are very intuitive people who make sense of the world by using their instincts. They have a lot of intuition, which helps them see trends and deeper messages that other people might miss. Because of this, they have a different way of looking at things and a knack for knowing what will happen next because they have a strong sense of right and wrong and want peace and fairness. They hardly judge people without hearing their own side of the story. They're good at coming up with new ideas. They tend to be very creative people who find it fun to think of new ways to deal with old problems. They have high standards for being honest and having ethics, which makes them reliable friends. They really like to help others and are ready to put the wants of others ahead of their own. They do it because they really want to help people and make the world a better place. They are great leaders because they are willing to put themselves out there for the good of the group. INFJs can be nice and easy to talk to, but they can also be quiet and private. They usually keep their deepest thoughts and feelings to themselves, only telling close friends and family. Part of what makes them so interesting is how mysterious they are. Even though many INFJs share all the traits we have mentioned so far, it's important to remember that even people with the same personality type can be very different. The goal of this book is to give readers a deep look at all of the different parts that make up this unique personality type. This book was written to help INFJs and people who want to learn more about them understand themselves and their relationships better. The book will show INFJs how to connect with other people better and also help them live a fulfilled life. Chapter 1. INFJ. A brief introduction to personality types. Carl Jung's idea of psychological types is a great way to look at and understand what makes people tick. Jung said that people's natural tendencies shape how they think about themselves and how they connect with people and things around them. Jung built his theory on the idea that people take in and make sense of the world through four main psychic processes. This includes cognitive, social, sensory, and subconscious processes. When you think, you evaluate facts and proof in an objective way. When you feel, you evaluate based on your values and emotions. Sensation is about the five senses and first-hand experience, while intuition is about abstract and symbolic thought that focuses on patterns and options. Jung said that everyone has a main function that describes how they take in information and make sense of it. He did, however, agree that other functions are also present to varying degrees, creating a structure called the function stack that is made up of levels. For example, a person whose main way of understanding knowledge is through thought may use feeling as a secondary function, followed by sense and intuition. Because these processes work together in different ways, personality types are complex and different. Jung came up with the idea of personality types as a way to better divide people into groups. The way a person learns while using their primary and secondary brain processes shows what their mood is like. There are two ways of thinking, being outgoing and being quiet. So, someone can be both an outgoing thinker and an inward-feeling person. Jung also thought that there are four main types of personality, each with its own set of core values and ways of acting. Thinkers, feelers, sensors, and intuitives. Different types of people act, make choices, and make friends in different ways because they have different skills and interests. Jung's theory of psychological types has had a huge effect on the study of psychology because it gives a framework for understanding how people are different and how different parts of their personalities work together. It has been used in counseling, job advice, and team building, among other places, to help people better understand themselves and each other through better communication. In addition to introversion, extroversion, and the four psychological functions, thinking, feeling, awareness, and perception, Jung came up with the idea of psychological attitudes. You could think of a person's mood as the path their life force takes. Jung thought that extroversion and introversion were the two most important traits. People who are extrovert tend to pay attention to things and events happening outside of themselves. Extrovert people are those who enjoy being around other people. They're the kind of people who take charge and go out of their way to try new things. They like to make the most of where they are. On the other hand, Introverts tend to turn inward and pay attention to their own thoughts, feelings, and ideas. Introverts are people who tend to think about themselves and who like to be alone or in small groups. Most of the time, they need time alone to reflect and absorb new information. Jung said that people's amounts of extroversion and introversion don't stay the same, but change over time. Also, whether a person is outgoing or quiet relies on what they do most of the time. Jung's idea of psychological types goes beyond just putting people into groups. It shows how each type sees and understands the world. He gave examples of typical acts and ways of thinking for each group. For example, people who like to think like to base their decisions on facts and proof. They work hard to keep their minds and actions clear, coherent, and consistent. The feeling type, on the other hand, is more likely to put beliefs, feelings, and views at the top of their list when making decisions. They care about keeping the peace, having understanding, and being aware of the effects of what they do. The feeling type usually lives in the present and uses their senses to learn about the world and make sense of it. They care a lot about the world around them and put a high value on information that can be seen and touched. People who are more intuitive, on the other hand, are more interested in speculative thinking. They look at data to find patterns, links, and possible meanings. People tend to be better at one of the four Jung's dichotomies than another, but it's important to remember that everyone has all of them to some degree. Jung's theory admits that people can change over time and learn to integrate their less dominant functions. This shows that personality is complicated and changes over time. Jung's theory is also built around the idea of the function stack, also called the function hierarchy. Each person has a dominant function that affects how they take in the world and make sense of it. An auxiliary function is a way for the main function to connect with the outside world in addition to the main function. The main and minor functions of a person are what make up their identity. The third function is in the middle between the dominant and subordinate functions. It keeps the dominant and subordinate functions from going too far. People can improve their tertiary function through mindful growth and careful exercise. On the other hand, the secondary function is the part of a person's personality that is the least developed. It generally shows up when people are under a lot of stress or when they are dealing with something new or hard. Jung's work was what led to the development of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, which is widely used in many places and settings today. A brief introduction to INFJs. INFJs are introverts at heart, which means that their ideas and thoughts are what drive them. They are less likely to go to big group events and more likely to enjoy quiet time alone or deep conversations with a small group of friends. INFJs are quiet, so they need time alone to recharge and think about their ideas. This doesn't mean that they are often shy or unfriendly. INFJs' strong intuitive skills let them look past facts and ideas on the surface to find hidden meanings. They can figure out what people are really thinking and feeling just by watching them. By nature, they are idealists and dreamers, which is helped by the fact that they are very creative and imaginative. They are very good at feeling what other people are going through and have a strong desire to understand and help the people in their lives. They have a lot of kindness and understanding, and they can easily put themselves in the shoes of others. They are great listeners and counselors because they have a lot of empathy. INFJs are more likely to live their lives in a sensible, planned way. They usually have high standards for themselves and others and are always trying to get better. INFJs are known to be reliable because they always do what they say they will. INFJs are very sensitive and wise. They have a natural ability to understand subtle feelings and the way people interact, which makes them an important source of advice and support for those around them. They have a great ability to understand and care about how other people feel. INFJs have a lot going on inside of them because they are intuitive and creative. They tend to think about philosophical and spiritual questions and are often driven by a real desire to know what life is all about. They put a lot of value on learning about themselves and enjoy activities that make them think about themselves. They are known for being kind and understanding, but they also stick to their views and goals. They have strong moral beliefs and always act in an honest and moral way. They are also often very enthusiastic and positive. They believe in making the world a better place and so work for equality and fairness for everyone. They are good at talking and can say what they think and feel in a clear and effective way. They often have deep friendships and helpful relationships because of their natural ability to understand how other people feel. INFJs may also have some problems. Because they can feel what other people feel, they may become mentally drained and more likely to take on other people's problems. They might find it hard to put their own needs first and set good boundaries. Also, their tendency to be idealistic makes them more likely to be disappointed when reality doesn't match up to what they want it to be. Chapter 2. Characteristics of INFJs. INFJs are very caring people. They are built to pick up on and react to the feelings of those around them in a way that is almost unbelievable. Because they genuinely care about the happiness of the people around them, they are able to build strong relationships with them. They know how to listen with understanding and empathy. INFJs are very creative. They spend a lot of time by themselves, thinking about the puzzles of life and looking for answers. Because they have strong minds, they can show their creativity in many different ways. They like things like art and nature. They are idealistic and always looking for justice and peace because they want to make the world a better place. They have a natural tendency to help people who can't help themselves. They do this because they have a strong sense of right and wrong. They are private people who are careful to protect their own space. They find comfort in their own thoughts, which give them a place to relax and think. They value friendships that are based on confidence and a deep knowledge of each other. Even though an INFJ seems calm and controlled on the outside, their inner life is anything but calm. They have strong feelings that often make them feel stressed. The richness of their inner lives affects how they interact with the outside world, which can be both a strength and a problem. Because their feelings might be draining, they might need a lot of time alone. INFJs have an intuitive sixth sense that helps them make good decisions. They are very good at figuring out what something means based on background clues and trends that most people would miss. Because they have understanding and are naturally observant, they can understand what people really want and what drives them. They are always looking for ways to improve themselves and learn new things. They want to get better because they are on an inner quest to better match how they act to what they say they believe and what their goals are. They are always interested in learning new things and want to keep getting smarter for the rest of their lives. INFJs are mysterious because they have a rare mix of empathy, imagination, optimism, and intuition. They have a quiet sense of power and ease that can have a big impact on those who get to know them. As leaders and thinkers who are driven by the hope of a better tomorrow, they leave an indelible mark on the world. In social settings, INFJs are known for being quiet and reserved. They'd rather have deep conversations than talk too much with mere strangers. People are usually drawn to them, even if they aren't the most outgoing people. People are drawn to them because they are honest, have a lot of knowledge, and know how to make conversation easy. Even though INFJs tend to be shy, they are sure of what they think is right and aren't afraid to speak up for it. They have a strong desire to make things right, and they will do anything to make sure everyone gets equal rights and fair treatment. The eloquence and passion of an INFJ could make them a strong voice for things they care deeply about. They are very sensitive, trust their instincts, and use it when they have to make hard decisions. Because they intuitively know what other people want and need, they pay close attention and are good at understanding how social interactions work. Since they tend to put the needs of others before their own, it can be hard for them to set limits and decide what's most important to them. Self-care and finding healthy ways to talk about feelings are important for an INFJ's mental and emotional health. Even though INFJs are kind, they may be very independent and driven. They are sure of who they are and don't easily give in to group pressure or society's expectations. They use their own internal guide to decide what to do, and they often go against the grain to do what they think is right. They are good at making decisions that are in line with their ideals and beliefs. Even though INFJs tend to be shy, they can be great leaders and inspire people. People are pulled to them because they have a good amount of charm and a natural ability to inspire and support those around them. They are often good listeners. They try to find out the truth about other people and create an environment where people feel free to speak their thoughts. INFJs have a special way of making others feel heard and valued. They are naturally good at making peace because they want to bring people together and solve problems. INFJs care deeply about fairness in the world, but they also value their own inner life and privacy. They tend to look out for other people and often end up in situations where they can do so. An INFJ will go out of their way to help and encourage others so that they, too, can reach their full potential. Chapter 3. INFJ and Relationships. INFJs care a lot about relationships. They'd rather have deep conversations than shallow ones. They are known for being trustworthy and kind friends. They are good at listening and can quickly understand how other people feel and what they have been through. When a friend needs to talk to someone who will listen and give good advice, they usually go to an INFJ. They care about their friends and family and are always there to help or let someone cry on their shoulder. INFJs like to have deep conversations with their friends. They like to talk about psychological or theoretical ideas and think about the bigger questions of life. They like to hang out with people who are just as interested as they are in various topics who can keep up with them in conversation. INFJs are loyal and devoted partners when it comes to love. They like being close to people and want a partner who can understand and accept their inner life. They are known for their precognitive skills, which let them know what their partners want and need before they say it. They are kind and loving, and they will do everything they can to understand their partner and let them know they are loved. They care most about keeping things calm and peaceful in their personal relationships. Most of the time, they are willing to give in and meet in the middle to keep the peace and keep the relationship healthy. They like partners who can respect their personal choices and views. They have a natural ability to sense and understand other people's feelings because they can be very observant. They are wise and caring and are always there for their friends and lovers when they need them. When it comes to giving mental support to their loved ones, INFJs are the best. They offer a place where friends and lovers can talk about their deepest worries and most private thoughts without fear of rejection. Because they can understand and help people when they need it, people usually like keeping them as friends. INFJs are optimistic and know exactly what kind of relationships they want to have. Their main goal is to make the world a better place, and their relationships help them do that. They are naturally outgoing, but they are selective about who they let into their close group. They put quality over number and authenticity over flair when it comes to relationships. That INFJs' friendships and love relationships as a place where both parties can learn and grow. They value relationships in which each person helps the other grow. INFJs and dating. When an INFJ falls in love, they give the relationship their all, in hopes of building something that will last a lifetime. They look for ways to learn about what's going on inside their partner's head, and their love is real and true. They have an edge in relationships because they are naturally sensitive and can get to the bottom of what their partner is thinking and feeling. Communication is the key to an INFJ's love life. They like deep conversations that go into the many different parts of life and cover a wide range of topics. INFJs value emotional connection and creating a safe space where both partners can be themselves. So they like partners who are willing to talk about their hopes, fears, and weaknesses. Because they are naturally empathetic, they tend to be very in tune with how their partners feel. Even if their partner doesn't say anything, they know when something is wrong. When their partner is having a hard time, INFJs are there to listen and reassure them. INFJs value their relationships with other people, but they also need a lot of time alone. They understand that people need time alone to think, rest, and pursue their own interests. Partners of INFJs would do well to understand and accept this need, because INFJs can easily burn out. INFJs have high standards when it comes to relationships. They want a life partner who is as honest, kind, and determined to change the world as they are. They want their partner to hear and understand them on a deep, emotional level. Most of the time, INFJs want to take care of and protect their partners when they're in a partnership. They are kind and thoughtful, and they enjoy taking care of their partner's wants and cheering them on when they're going through hard times. An INFJ's natural tendency is to support and encourage their partner to reach their full potential. INFJs are very observant and can read between the lines to figure out how other people really feel. They are not afraid to have tough conversations when they want to improve relationships and find good answers to problems. They like to try new things, be artistic, and get into philosophical or spiritual discussions. INFJs like to hang out with people who can have these kinds of deep, thought-provoking conversations with them and who are interested in the same things they are. When it comes to love, INFJs value honesty above all else. They are picky about who they let into their lives, and it takes a while for them to trust someone. Once an INFJ trusts you, they will always be there for you. Because lying and deception can hurt them so much, they expect the same level of honesty and commitment from their relationships. INFJs really value relationships that are built on honesty and openness. Since they are both real and honest, they want the same in their relationship. If an INFJ thinks a partner is not being honest or is trying to trick them, they may pull away or become more guarded. INFJ and friendships. INFJs put a lot of effort into keeping their friendships healthy because they respect their friends a lot. They value relationships in which both individuals give and take. INFJs are good at remembering details about their friends' lives to show how much they care. Being friends with an INFJ can be a great way to grow. They encourage their friends to do what makes them happy and find out who they really are. INFJs are great at seeing what people are capable of and will go out of their way to help, support, and encourage them. They believe in their friends' abilities and want them to do as well as they can. INFJs are often friends with each other because they share the same views and goals. They try to hang out with people who have the same beliefs and goals for making the world a better place as they do. They need time alone in order to keep their energy up. This desire for solitude doesn't mean that an INFJ doesn't like people or wants to avoid them. Instead, it's a way for INFJs to keep their mental health in check and avoid burnout. They build strong friendships based on shared goals. They are good listeners and try to fully understand their friends when it comes to their friendships. Friends like them are rare and respected because they are both smart and caring. INFJs also have a reputation for being loyal. When they get close to someone, they'll do anything to keep that bond strong. You can count on them for anything, whether you need help or just want to talk to someone. INFJs are good listeners, but it means a lot to them when their friends do the same for them. They appreciate it when others show they care by listening carefully, giving helpful feedback, and being there for them when they need help. They are usually a great source of motivation and energy for their friends. They cheer for their friends when they follow their dreams and make a change in the world. Their friends know they can be themselves around them and are inspired to go after their goals. INFJs have a reputation for being smart and sensitive. Because they understand people and have compassion, they are in a unique situation to give help and guidance. Friends like INFJs because they are trustworthy confidants who can be counted on for good advice and support when life gets tough. Chapter 4. INFJ and work. INFJs stand out in a lot of ways, but one is how well they can see the bigger picture. They are people with big ideas who want to make the world a better place. Because of this trait, they are able to plan ahead and look at the big picture at work. INFJs are good at figuring out complicated problems and coming up with new solutions. They are good at talking to people, which is one of their many strong points. They can explain their ideas and thoughts in a clear and straightforward manner. They can listen carefully, which makes others feel like they've been heard. Because of this, they work well with others and can build strong relationships with both customers and coworkers. They do well in jobs that require them to coach, teach, or give advice to others because they want to see others succeed. Even though they have a reputation for staying calm under pressure, they really care deeply about what they believe in and aren't afraid to fight for it. They are honest and straightforward at work because they have strong personal values that drive them to be that way. They have a strong sense of what is right and wrong, which leads them to seek justice and fairness in their work. In their efforts to be the best, they tend to be too hard on themselves. This makes them doubt themselves and stop them from taking chances. Also, INFJs have a lot of empathy, which can drain them emotionally if they take on too much of the emotional problems of the people around them. INFJs are a great asset to any company because they have a great mix of empathy, intuition, and fluency with words. When INFJs find a job that fits with their values and gives them room to grow, they do well. They often work in fields like counseling, psychiatry, social work, and other similar fields because they want to make a difference in the world. They are able to see patterns and connections that other people miss because they are intuitive. They have an innate understanding of how people think and feel, which lets them guess what people want and need. Because of this, they are very good at coming up with new ways to solve hard problems. INFJs are the best at getting people to work together as a team because they are so good at bringing people together. They are often very organized and careful. They work hard and enjoy what they do, and they always try to do their best. They function best in organized settings where they can make plans and stick to them. An INFJ's other strength is their ability to juggle several tasks without sacrificing quality or efficiency. They are good at multitasking. They are inspirational leaders who encourage their teams to reach their greatest potential. Coaching and mentoring are two areas in which INFJs shine, as they provide others with direction and encouragement to develop in their careers. They promote an environment of open dialogue and friendly cooperation. When it comes to getting their needs fulfilled at work, though, INFJs may have trouble standing up for themselves. They may take any criticism or bad comments very personally. In order to have their work appreciated, INFJs need to work on building their confidence and assertiveness. They have a deep inner life and are always open to new events and views. Because of this, they are great additions to any group involved in creative thinking or problem solving. They are pros at coming up with new answers to old problems. INFJs thrive in roles that call for sensitivity and insight. They are especially empathetic and observant, which serves them well in delicate social situations. As a result, they excel in areas such as customer service, human resources, and anything else where they must address the feelings and wants of others. They do best at work that let them use their own judgment and initiative. Jobs that INFJ might be good at. They are drawn to careers in guidance and therapy because of their natural ability to understand and lead others. They are good at helping people and make good psychologists, therapists, and advisors. INFJs are often good at writing and journalism because they are good at getting their ideas across to people. They can then share their knowledge with the world by writing books, writing for newspapers, or making movies. INFJs are drawn to work in the charity and NGOs because they want to make the world a better place. They might work for a non-governmental group, NGO, that works for social justice, environmental protection, youth development, or health and wellness. They also do very well as guides and teachers in the academic world. Below are some of the fields that they do well. 1. Careers in healthcare. INFJs are great healthcare workers because they have naturally high amounts of understanding and care. They could become nurses or doctors, or they could become practitioners in the areas of holistic health or alternative therapy. 2. The arts and creativity. INFJs have a deep appreciation for beauty and art. They can find happiness in jobs like the creative arts, graphic design, music, or acting. 3. Human resources and organizational development. INFJs are great with people and have a natural understanding of how groups work. They are good candidates for jobs in human resources, coaching, and organizational development. 4. They could work in areas like conservation, sustainable development, and environmental advocacy to protect the earth and promote practices that are good for the environment. 5. INFJs are good at diplomacy and foreign relations because they can see things from different points of view and bring people together. They could work in areas like diplomacy, foreign relations, and resolving conflicts, where they could help bring peace and understanding to the whole world. 6. INFJs are naturally curious about the world and thirsty for knowledge, so careers in research and higher education are a good fit for them. They might do well in a school setting where they could study, learn more about science, and teach the next crop of thinkers. 7. Humanitarian aid and development. INFJs are very compassionate and want to help the most defenseless people in the world. They might find work with groups that help people who have been hurt by war, hunger, or other disasters. 8. Coaching and self-development. INFJs are naturally able to understand and guide the growth of other people. They can work as life coaches, job coaches, or personal development teachers to help other people reach their full potential and follow their dreams. 9. INFJs are great lawyers and defenders because they have a strong sense of fairness and are not afraid to stand up for what they believe in. They can go to law school and become lawyers or champions who fight for people's rights or the rights of underrepresented groups. 10. They are great brand managers and marketers because they are good at communicating and caring about others. They are good at marketing and branding because they know how to make brands and customers feel like they have a real relationship. 11. INFJs can do well in the hospitality and event planning fields because they pay close attention to details and want to help people. 12. INFJs are naturally good at teaching and guiding, which means they can help others get where they want to go. They might find fulfilling jobs as teachers and mentors in areas like executive coaching, career development, and personal development. 13. INFJs are good at user experience, UX, design because they are naturally intuitive and empathetic. Digital goods and services are more likely to appeal to their target audience because of their abilities. 14. INFJs are good candidates for careers in environmental psychology because they like the outdoor world so much. They can look into how our health, deeds, and loyalty to a sustainable way of life are affected by the environmental world around us. 15. Political activism and advocacy. INFJs have a strong sense of duty to speak up about things that matter to them because they care a lot about social justice. People can get involved in politics by working for groups or movements that want to make positive changes in society and politics. Chapter 5. INFJ Cognitive Functions. The introverted intuition, NI, thinking function is very important to the INFJ personality. It's a self-reflective and intuitive function that helps INFJs see connections and things that other people might miss. INFJs use NI as a filter to figure out what is going on in the world. It helps them see beyond the obvious effects of a situation or how it might change in the future. INFJs can get to the heart of things and see possible results that are not obvious because of this extrasensory sense. They seem to have a sixth sense because they notice details and trends that most people miss. NI easily receives and makes sense of information without being aware of it. Together with the INFJ's second main cognitive function, extrovert feeling, FE, it helps them understand and respond to the feelings and wants of those around them. With the help of their NI, INFJs are able to sort through all the emotional information they have and make sense of what it all means about the people they meet. When it comes to NI, INFJs do well because they can think ahead and see what's coming. This way of thinking helps them develop a clear sense of duty, which in turn inspires them to work towards lofty goals and make decisions that are in line with their inner values. INFJs are known for their wisdom and ability to see the big picture. Both of these traits help them deal with tough situations and make moral choices. NI's strength is amazing, but it also has some problems. The INFJ's natural tendency to be shy or quiet could make them seem distant or shy. They may spend a lot of time alone thinking about what they have learned and what they have learned about it. This tendency to think about themselves could make them feel like no one understands them or that they are cut off from the rest of the world. INFJs may have trouble communicating and getting noticed because they don't like to put their intuitive thoughts into words. They might also get angry when people don't get how complicated their ideas are. Even with these problems, NI is still a very helpful tool for INFJs. This gives them a lot of new ideas and ways of seeing things. INFJs may be able to make a change in the world if they use their NI to share their unique views and help others understand them. NI has an effect on INFJs that goes beyond their tendency to think about themselves and plan for the future. It changes how they try to solve problems and make decisions. INFJs go with their gut feelings when making choices because they know that will be best for them in the long run. They have a natural need to find meaning in what they do, and NI helps them find meaning and purpose in the maze of life. With the help of NI, INFJs can find connections and patterns where other people may not see any. This can lead to new and unique ideas and ways of doing things. They have a natural ability to see the big picture and make links that help them understand complex processes. INFJs can come up with unique and intelligent answers to problems because they can put together different pieces of information and see things from different points of view. INFJs NI also helps them think of and work for social change. They are driven by their belief that they can do good in the world. INFJs can see beyond their present situation and imagine a better future for themselves. They are often motivated to make a change when they work in areas or do things that are in line with their own values. INFJs depend a lot on NI, but it's not enough on its own. They use their extrovert feeling, FE, to better understand and respond to the feelings of others. Their introverted thinking, TI, gives them a rational way to evaluate their own thoughts and ideas. These skills work well together to give them a well-rounded way to see and react to the world. INFJs can predict what might happen because of NI's natural thoughts and plan accordingly. They are good at noticing changes and guessing what might happen next. This information gives them the ability to make long-term, strategic plans. INFJs are able to face the unknown with confidence and determination because they trust their instincts to help them through hard times. NI also changes how INFJs take in information. They tend to take in information in a more big-picture way, focusing on the big picture rather than getting into the details. This makes it possible for them to draw conclusions based on their gut thinking. When an INFJ finally gets the meaning of a situation, they may have an aha moment. INFJs depend heavily on their NI to figure out the subtleties and secret dynamics at play when engaging with other people. They can tell how people are feeling and what they are trying to do by noticing small changes in energy, body language, and tone of voice. NI is a strong thinking ability, But INFJ should be aware that being NI dominant could cause some problems. Since intuitive thoughts usually start at a very deep level, it may be hard for them to explain them to others. INFJs may feel annoyed or confused because they have a hard time putting their thoughts into words. Also, because INFJs tend to focus on NI, they might get stuck in their own thoughts and never move on. Because they are thinking about themselves, they may lose the ability to act or make choices. NI has a big impact on how an INFJ sees and interacts with the world. As a result, they become better at thinking about themselves, making good decisions, and understanding how other people feel. INFJs can make important impacts in counseling, the arts, leadership, and social change because they are sensitive and tend to focus on the future. INFJs who have developed NI also have a rich inner life and a creative mind. They get ideas from their lively imaginations, which pushes them to think about things they hadn't thought of before. INFJs use their extrovert feeling, FE, and introverted thinking, TI, skills, even though NI is their main function. Along with NI, these skills help build the INFJ's character. FE helps INFJs understand how social situations work and put the wants of others before their own, while TI gives them a reasonable way to figure out how accurate their gut feelings are. The importance of extrovert feelings, FE, for INFJ. The INFJ's extrovert feeling, FE, is one of their most important ways of thinking, and it has a big impact on how well they get along with other people. FE is more concerned with the outside world and the needs, feelings, and goals of the people around them. It means that INFJs are likely to pick up on the feelings and moods of the people around them. This makes them very empathic. An INFJ's FE is like a guide when it comes to making decisions about other people and how to connect with them. They want to help people and make the world a better place. Because of this, they can easily figure out how other people are feeling and what their plans are, so they can act in the right way. INFJs with strong FE are very good at knowing when to help and comfort people who are suffering mentally. People trust them to listen with empathy and give good advice because they care deeply about those close to them. INFJs have a lot of empathy. They usually do a good job of making those close to them feel heard and cared for. They are aware of their partner's emotional needs and are quick to offer support and show that they understand how their partner feels. But INFJs dominating FE can also be a problem when it comes to relationships. They sometimes think too much about how their partners feel and put their partner's feelings before their own. This trait could go wrong if the person starts to ignore their own feelings and needs, which could lead to emotional tiredness or anger. INFJs have a lot of empathy, so they often take on the feelings and attitudes of the people around them. This can be tiring. They might not be able to tell the difference between their own thoughts and those of their partner. This can make them feel emotionally worn out and make it hard to be themselves in a relationship. Even though they have to deal with these problems, INFJs often find that their strong FE function helps them build strong bonds with other people. Their ability to understand and care about others builds strong emotional bonds and a strong sense of closeness. Many INFJs are very loyal lovers who put a high value on the strength of their relationships. INFJs who score high on the FE scale are usually good at making everyone feel welcome and valued when it comes to relationships. They have a natural ability to make people feel heard and valued, which creates an atmosphere where people feel safe sharing their thoughts and feelings with them. FE is also present in INFJ's strong desire to make a difference in the world. They are driven by a strong desire to make other people's lives better, so they often do things or work in jobs that help them reach this goal. Their FE function makes them want to make the world a better, fair place, and they often volunteer for groups that share their goals. On the other hand, INFJs may find it hard to meet their own mental needs and those of other people at the same time. Because they have a high FE, they care about making sure those close to them are happy, even if that means putting their own needs last. Some INFJs have trouble setting limits, and they may feel responsible for how other people feel, even if it's not their fault. INFJs need to put self-care first and set clear limits in order to avoid emotional tiredness and burnout. FE function makes it much easier for INFJs to build deep, long-lasting ties with other people, no matter what obstacles they might face. People usually think of them as kind and reliable friends who can give their relationships a strong emotional base. INFJs care so much about the people they love that they can make them feel safe and cared for, which makes their relationships stronger. INFJs who have strong FE know how to solve problems and make sure everyone is happy in a group. They are good at figuring out where people disagree and coming up with ideas that work for everyone. INFJs can bring together people from different backgrounds and points of view because they have a lot of FE. And INFJs' kindness, which is driven by their FE, isn't just for their closest friends and family. As people who fight for social justice and human rights, they use their understanding of how others feel to encourage tolerance and fair treatment for everyone. FE-dominant INFJs may work hard to make the world a better place by fighting for causes they care deeply about. But the FE function might make things hard for INFJs in its own way. Because they are so sensitive to the feelings of those around them, they may be easy to manipulate or take advantage of. INFJs put a lot of effort into keeping the peace, so they may have trouble saying no or standing up for what they want for fear of breaking that peace. INFJs need to become more self-aware and set boundaries to protect their emotional and mental health. Chapter 6. How INFJ can overcome the downsides of their personality. INFJs may find it hard to learn how to handle their turbulent feelings. Because they are so sensitive, intuitive, and empathetic, INFJs often go through big emotional changes. Self-awareness and self-care are important for an INFJ. It might help to get to the bottom of why they feel the way they do. Through self-reflection, they can learn how their own views and values shape how they feel. As a way to deal with their thoughts, INFJs can do well to spend time alone and focus on themselves. They need to be alone to recharge and get in touch with who they really are. Journaling, meditating, and spending time in nature are all great ways to calm the mind and deal with mental stress. INFJs should also have a strong group of people they can talk to about anything. Even though they like to be alone, they might benefit from talking to a trusted friend or family member about how they feel. It's a big relief to have someone they can talk to about their problems who can understand them and help them through these problems. They may also feel better about their well-being if they make self-care a normal part of their lives. They can calm themselves down by doing something like making art, reading, or listening to music. Physical exercise like yoga or walks can also help relieve stress and improve their health as a whole. When dealing with difficult feelings, it's important for INFJs to show themselves kindness and accept themselves. They tend to be too hard on themselves, and when they don't meet their own standards. If they accept that having strong emotions is part of who they are, they can be more kind and understanding towards themselves. INFJs also find comfort in their desire to help other people. They can use their understanding to help and understand people who are going through the same things they are. Helping other people through volunteer work, mental support, or random acts of kindness can make a person feel like their own life has more value. They could also benefit from learning how to use their thoughts in a positive way. They may feel better when they paint, write, or play an instrument, which are all artsy ways to express themselves. This kind of writing can help the writer get out their feelings and see things from a different point of view. Another great way for an INFJ to deal with down times is to have a group of friends who understand and support them. A person's mental health can be helped a lot by being around helpful people who understand and value their sensitivity. Nature has a calming effect, which INFJs may find comfortable. Going for a walk in a park or taking in the beauty of nature might help them calm the waves of feeling that are raging inside them. INFJs might like how nature calms them down and helps them get in touch with themselves. They can also deal with their complicated thoughts well by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about focusing on the present moment without judging it. INFJs can be aware of their feelings without being overwhelmed by them if they perform mindfulness meditation or find ways to be more mindful in their daily lives. INFJs may find it helpful to write or keep a journal as a way to work through their thoughts. Writing down their thoughts and feelings would help them sort through their confusing inner lives and make sense of the world around them. INFJs should engage in leisure activities like reading, listening to music, and making art. It's important for their mental health that they take time to do things that give them energy and make them feel better. INFJs also need to have a strong group of people they can count on when they need help. They might look for people who understand and appreciate who they are and how they feel. If a person can count on friends, family, or other people with similar beliefs and points of view, they may have a safe place to talk about their problems, get help, and feel understood when they need it. Chapter 7. The Emotional Life of INFJ. INFJs are very sensitive and can be overpowered by even the smallest emotions. Because they are very sensitive, they may be prone to mental stress, worry, and even physical sickness. They might find it hard to set and keep healthy emotional limits and find a balance between their inner life and what the outside world wants from them. INFJs want deep relationships, and this can be a problem in a society that values shallowness and shallow interactions. INFJs' sincerity and emotional depth can be hard to understand, and their need to be real can make them feel alone most of the times. INFJs also find it hard to make decisions because they are so natural and can see things from so many different points of view. Having a strong gut sense can be helpful, but it can also make someone overthink and second-guess their choices. This internal conflict could slow them down and make them feel stuck or unable to make a choice, which would make their need for direction even stronger. They can also find it hard to find a balance between their goals and the harsh truth of life. They have an uncanny ability to see a better future for themselves and for everyone else. But when they see the world for what it really is, with all its limits and complexity, they may become irritated and lose hope. INFJs often have trouble standing up for themselves and keeping clear boundaries. Putting the needs of others before their own in order to keep the peace can throw relationships out of balance. Because of this, they may have trouble saying no or showing how they really feel, which can make them angry or feel like they're being used. INFJs tend to spend a lot of time thinking about and analyzing situations. They might feel stuck and unable to move forward because they can't get out of the loop of weighing the pros and cons of each possible decision. This tendency to overanalyze often leads to anxiety and self-doubt. It might be hard for an INFJ to find a job that fits their core values and interests. They want to do something that makes a difference in the world and helps other people. But because of the realities of the job market and social standards, it can be hard for them to find careers that make the most of their skills and interests. INFJs have a lot of empathy, which makes them more likely to take on the feelings and energy of those around them. This can be mentally draining for them. They may take on the problems of the people around them, even if it hurts their own mental health. For their mental and emotional health, it becomes important that they learn to keep their energy to themselves and set good emotional limits. It might be hard for an INFJ to find people who really understand them and accept them. Because their feelings and thoughts are so strong and complicated, it may be hard for them to make deep connections with other people. They may feel alone and want to connect with other people. INFJs may have trouble being themselves in groups. They may lose touch with who they really are because of the push to change and fit in with other people's standards and norms. This could lead to a constant struggle between who they really are and the person they think they need to be in different social situations. INFJs often want to improve themselves and grow as people. This drive can be helpful, but it can also lead to self-criticism and a feeling of never being good enough. They may set high standards for themselves and feel disappointed when they don't meet them. This can lead to a cycle of self-doubt and an inability to accept oneself. INFJs may find it hard to connect with others because they are usually sensitive and thoughtful. They may feel like they're not understood or like they don't fit in with the rest of society. This can make them feel alone and want to connect with people who share their views in deeper ways. Self-care practices for INFJs. Since INFJs tend to be thoughtful and caring, taking care of themselves is very important. Here are some ideas for helping them practice self-care. INFJs need to make sure they have time for quiet reflection. If we think about our thoughts, feelings, and goals, we might find out more about ourselves and our goals. They can do this by taking time for themselves in nature or by writing in a notebook. INFJs also need to work on building a strong network of people who can help them. When we're around people who support us and share our hobbies and ideals, we may feel validated and encouraged. By letting our close friends and family in on our deepest thoughts and feelings, we can all learn from each other and grow. INFJs can gain from getting involved in creative activities. When we can express ourselves artistically, whether through words, pictures, or sounds, we can get to our deepest thoughts and feelings. It gives us a chance to express our creativity, which is good for our mental health and makes us happy. INFJs need to find a good mix between their work and their personal lives. People who are driven by purpose and meaning need to set boundaries and put themselves first. To do this, we need to learn to take time for ourselves when we need it without feeling bad. Reading, Doing sports and spending time with loved ones are all examples of things that can help us grow and feel better about ourselves. INFJs can also benefit from becoming a lifelong learner. You can keep learning throughout your life by reading a lot, going to classes, and discovering new areas of interest. This kind of mental task is important for growth. INFJs can also benefit from learning how to set and work towards goals that are important to them. By figuring out what our hobbies and goals are, we can plan a path for growth. We may break our goals down into smaller, more doable tasks so we can stay inspired and feel like we're making progress. They should encourage honest, two-way conversations, learn how to listen carefully, and try to understand each other's experiences and points of view. Getting better at understanding and kindness makes us better at getting along with other people and helps us grow as people. Self-compassion is especially important for INFJs because they tend to be so hard on themselves. Self-care means accepting ourselves as we are, being kind to ourselves, and letting go of our flaws. To improve our own health, we should talk to ourselves in a good way and be as kind and patient with ourselves as we are with other people. Because INFJs want to make a difference, it makes sense for them to get involved in efforts that help people or the environment. INFJs can feel like they have a mission and are happy when they volunteer, fight for a cause, or help people in their neighborhood. Gratitude is another strong tool for making people happier and helping them grow faster. Taking time every day to think about what we're grateful for is a great way to change how we see things.